Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Your guide from ordinary to extraordinary relationships is on its way to your inbox. It'll be there in about 10 minutes. So in the meantime, we've got some special stuff to share with you, and we want to get you started right away on building an extraordinary relationship. Also, at the end of this video, if you stay to the end, we're going to share with you some of the worst advice that we've ever heard that would definitely limit your chances of
Yeah,
creating.
you don't want to do this. And you probably downloaded this resource because you also care a lot about growth. And given that, you might care about this next piece because what we see is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. If you want an extraordinary relationship and you take on some of those 10 beliefs that we just gave you, is that you create a powerful relationship vision. So in working with something like, I think it's 30,000 paid sessions by now, we've seen again and again the power that creating a relationship vision can have. And we have a unique way that we teach couples how to do it. You know, one of the major benefits of this process is that you rarely have this conflict over who gets whose way. You know, one of you will say, well, I want it my way. And then the other said, well, no, I want it my way. And someone ends up having to compromise. So that conflict, it's incredibly common. And one of the things that happens is you don't have that fight anymore when you do our process. Also, when you have a relationship vision, you start to feel like your relationship is really heading somewhere. You're not just going through the motions day by day, right? Your relationship is actually in motion and moving and changing every day. So you don't tend to fall into complacency or boredom. And when you're always growing and you're always evolving, the relationship's always fresh and new and full of passion. And finally, when you create a relationship vision following our process, your relationship starts to have an impact on more than just the two of you and starts to actually be in service to the people all around you. You become kind of a role model and an inspiration for love itself. And what we find is that creating a powerful relationship vision is the key to making that leap and getting on that journey.
You wouldn't join a company that had no vision, right? So why do that at home? Why do that in your relationship that's so important? In my past relationships before this one, I didn't even think about having a relationship vision at all. I didn't even think of that concept. And pretty soon things felt like they were on autopilot. I think I have a habit, and maybe you do too, of focusing on what's wrong. My attention first goes to if there's something wrong, I got to fix it. So if nothing's wrong in the relationship, then the relationship started to not get the attention that it deserved. Also, some of my past relationships, we had a really different way of thinking about the future. It was kind of a scary topic to talk about because every time we talked about it, it was hard to have a common language. And then I guess we just kind of assumed that if you meet the person and you like each other at first, then the relationship will automatically just turn out. And you know what? It's understandable. TV, movies, books, they all teach us that falling in love is supposed to be this magical thing that just hits you like getting struck by lightning. And then you fast forward to happily ever after, and then everything was great.
Well, there's a lot of learning there. And so when we met, we thought, you know, if we're going to do this again, we really wanted to make sure that we knew why we were in a relationship. What's the reason for being in a relationship at all? And then why us together?
Mhm.
Bit by bit, through dozens of really juicy conversations, we discovered a process for creating a powerful relationship vision. And this process wasn't based on preferences. What it was based on instead was a lot of growth and evolution. And it started to help us transcend some of the relationship cul-de-sacs that people get lost in that drain the energy out of the relationship. So what happened instead is we sparked our love story and it continued to grow and evolve.
We were amazed at how well it worked for us, how powerful it was,
Mm.
how clear it was to make difficult decisions. And in fact, there are some great stories in the course about how we use the relationship vision to navigate some of our core differences. It was awesome. And it worked so well for us, we started to help other people with it. When we started helping other people do the same thing, that kind of leads us to where we are today, where we want to offer you a new way of thinking about your future as a relationship. And we want to walk through it with you, step by step, making sure that you have every opportunity to really get the most out of your powerful relationship vision.
Hmm. One former participant wrote to us and said, my partner and I got a series of tools to upgrade the very fabric of our relationship to become an exquisite crucible that allows us to transmute our problems into remarkable growth opportunities. I honestly cannot even imagine trying to do love without these tools.
Mhm. We want that for you too. We want you to have the set of tools that you'll need to really create the vision, but also make it a reality. In the past, you'd have to spend thousands of dollars and come to a couples retreat weekend with us in order to get this process for the powerful relationship vision. And in order to get our attention specifically on you and your relationship to make sure that it was the most powerful relationship vision possible. But we want to make it really easy to say yes. So we're doing a whole weekend together. We'll be there live on Zoom. Plus, we're going to do 3 weeks of follow-up and integration with Q&A and making sure that the whole process is working. And we're going to do all of that for $497. Now, if you were going to pay us one-on-one, which would be the only other way you get this material, it would be many, many times that because of all the time it would take to go through each step. For the price of a couple of nice dates, you could really change the whole future of how all the dates feel from that point on. You could really change the direction that you guys are headed together. And I think that's really powerful. So click the button right now and sign up, and let's get your registration process started.
So, what are we actually going to be doing together? First, we're going to look at how you make decisions as a couple. We're going to show you how to avoid things like resentment and discontent, and even those little things that you tell yourself don't really bother you that end up being little grains of sand in your relationship, creating irritation. So, we're going to show you how to avoid that. And then, we want to let you in on a little secret around this. Have you ever heard that quote about marriage, that it's all about good compromise? One of my personal favorites or not favorites about this is marriage is about compromise. It's about doing something for the other person, even when you don't want to. We actually think that's really bad advice. And so, does that mean that you're just going to think about yourself and who cares about your partner if they're happy or not? No, of course not. So, how do you make a relationship work without compromise? That's where this powerful relationship vision comes in, because we're going to show you exactly how that works. Then, we're going to explain what we mean by powerful relationship vision and show you exact thought processes and scripted conversations, step by step, that we recommend to make yours a success. We're going to give you all the tools that you need to implement this relationship vision so that you really can do one on your own with you and your partner. Together, we'll create a sense of possibility and renewal and excitement in your relationship, even if you've been together for decades. Relationships are actually designed to get better and better if you do it with a powerful relationship vision. We think that love and relationships are meant to actually get better over the years. And so our powerful relationship vision course is going to teach you how to really have that passion and intimacy and connection and freshness that even a new relationship has. Then we're going to build this relationship together with you, side by side, you and another group of incredible couples that are in this process with you. So go ahead and sign up now, and we'll see you inside.
You might be thinking, I'm not really sure I want to spend $497 right now. But I think it's crazy that we don't invest a lot more in our relationships, given how important they are to basically how we feel about everything else in our lives. Do you ever know a person with a great career, but they're not very happy at home? Or someone who has this amazing house, but inside the house, the marriage really isn't working. Or someone who lives in the ideal city and all the activities that they love to do, except for they don't really have someone that they love to do those things with. Study after study after study shows that one of the most important factors in your happiness in your life is the primary love relationship. And I think it'd be crazy not to invest this money to make sure that the vision for the future of that relationship is as powerful as it can be. So why wouldn't you spend a weekend with us plus 3 weekly follow-ups to energize the purpose of your relationship and create a powerful relationship vision? It will do more for your relationship than any expensive gift or vacation or furniture. And a lot of those things cost a lot more than this course does. We want to work with you to create an inflection point in your relationship, the kind of thing that you'll never forget for the rest of your lives. And that's what many of the people who've worked with us tell us, that the relationship vision, that initial conversation, was one of the most important ones that they've had in their whole time together. Okay, so I have a testimonial to read you. Annie, Lala, and Evan Pagan, incredible love coaches and teachers of transformation. They've used this process that we're going to teach you. They write, I saw a whole new way of doing love, got a whole new set of distinctions, new ideas, and new ways of seeing things. These are a couple of the best in the world.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Join us in creating your powerful relationship vision by clicking the Sign Up Now button below.
Some of you might be thinking, is there more to it? How is this relationship vision by itself going to magically make my relationship better and solve all of our problems? So I'm taking many, many couples through this process. There are actually several skills that you'll need to practice in order to make this work. And that's why, as a bonus, we're going to dedicate an entire day to developing these new relationship skills that'll permanently increase your RQ, which is your relational quotient, which we define as your capacity to navigate relationships skillfully. People with a high RQ have a lot less drama in their lives. They also know how to diffuse a situation without sacrifice or betraying their own boundaries and those values that are important to them. And that's a really important skill, knowing how to de-escalate and diffuse, but without giving up on something that's important to you. People with a high RQ also are incredible collaborators. People are excited to work with them, and they have a real advantage in social situations because they really understand all the dynamics and they know how to predict how things are going to go and how to relate to people in ways that have everyone feel great about it. You know, they're also a lot more at ease, not just when things are easy, but when emotions are running hot or high. People with a high RQ know how to regulate and come back to their center. And lastly, people with a high RQ, they know how to create nourishing interactions and the kinds of interactions that really give back to them and energize them the most. We want you to have those kinds of RQ skills, and our bonus is going to help you build that. We're going to include 4 of these key relationship skills for increasing your RQ. Every one of those, you're going to get a live demonstration. You're going to get a week-long practice, actually a few practices, and a way to integrate it in a Q&A call with us, where we'll help you work in your groups with implementing these new skills. Our goal really in doing this is to demystify these skills that we were never taught when we were growing up, but we're going to help make them really accessible and understandable. 2, we're really about making it easy and effective so that it's something that you can remember going forward to do in your relationship. Less like learning a whole brand new foreign language and more like finding a shortcut on your way home. And then lastly, we want to give you a sense of these feeling very natural. And if they feel natural to you, then you'll integrate them permanently in how you relate to one another.
As an additional bonus, we're going to give you VIP access to our clubhouse rooms. If you don't know what clubhouse is, we'll explain all of that inside. But what VIP access means is that when we do our public big Q&A sessions on relationships, you get to cut straight to the front of the line to make sure that you always get your questions answered. And even though this is a live course with us on Zoom, we're also going to publish all the recordings for you, which you can access anytime for as long as you want to, and your login will never expire. So click the button now and let's get started. For $497, you will get the powerful relationship vision, an entire weekend live with us, 3 weeks of follow-up with individual attention and Q&A, the bonus of the 4 key relationship skills, the bonus of the video recordings, the bonus of the written transcripts of all the video recordings, and VIP access to all the clubhouse rooms.
And if you're not 100% satisfied for any reason, we want to make this really easy and risk-free for you. If you've completed the whole course and you've done all of the exercises and all of the homework and come to each of the calls, and you still don't feel like you've got your relationship vision handled, we'll do a one-on-one session with you, which is worth more than the whole value of the course, in order to make sure that you really get it. If you're not already feeling on track, and we're doing that because we're really confident that we're going to give you everything that you need in order to have a potent relationship vision at the end, have one of the most fun, juicy conversations you've probably ever had, and build those RQ skills.
We know if you use this relationship vision process, that the conversations you're going to have and the vision that you'll end up with will be nothing like what you've had before. And we really want that for you because we're excited about what that means for your future and for how it feels to be in love.
We just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. If we're about anything, it's about supporting couples getting better at loving one another and really upgrading how we love. And so we're excited that you're considering jumping in with us. And thank you in advance for your depth and vulnerability and the intimacy that you'll bring in this course. And we can't wait to see you inside.
Okay, so at the beginning of the video, we said by the end, we were going to make sure and tell you some of the worst advice we've heard. And we kind of tipped it off a little bit earlier, but we want to talk about that myth of compromise, because I really think that is the worst advice that I've ever heard on relationships. And no, it doesn't mean that I just want my needs and my preferences and I don't listen to anyone else and I'm selfish and it's all about me. That's not what it means to not compromise. So when you tap into the deepest values that are most important to you, and those values are shared with the person you love most in the world, then when you're acting consistent with those values, there's no compromise. You're just doing and being the way that's most consistent with the deepest part of you. And that's so much more fulfilling than this preference or that preference, or I don't feel like it or whatever. And that's why there's never a compromise. When you're guided by those deep values, you shouldn't compromise those values for anyone, not your partner, not anyone, because they're the most important thing. And if they're shared, then it actually draws you together rather than separates you.
We're excited for you to be on this journey with us, learning a new way to decide things in your relationship and a way to have a vision that takes you up and out of some of those myths that we talked about earlier in the course. So thank you for staying until the end, and we hope to see you in our Creating a Powerful Relationship Vision course.
Look, if you're still listening, just do yourself a favor and make the commitment, click the button, start your application, and we'll see you inside.